Lubbock, Texas. The Red Raiders of Texas Tech play host to the Longhorns of Texas. And the reason it's a big one down in these parts, the standings of the Southwest Conference. Tech by a half game over the Texas Longhorns. Then comes Rice and TCU. We may have a record crowd here tonight. Both players and coaches alike know how big this one is.
You're going to see guys playing above the rim, fast break, slam dunk, three-point basketball.
From our perspective, it's a big game as far as the selection committee is concerned.
They really need this game tonight, but I mean, we need it just as bad as they do, so I think it's going to be a war.
Since last night and today, I've tried to keep it out of my head that this is such a big game, but it's real hard to forget that. Everybody's talking, everybody comes by and wishes us good luck, and it just keeps it in the back of our head that this is the game of the year.
Well, part of the record crowd here tonight. In fact, I have a feeling they might have given the fire marshal chauffeur because they don't want him around. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Larry Conley, and welcome to the South Plain of Texas. Lubbock, Texas tonight, a very big game for both, but Larry, I almost get the feeling that maybe this one is a little bit more important for James Dickey and the Red Raiders.
Yeah, Ron, I really think it is because, one, it will give them some legitimacy if they win this game tonight and some credibility with the NCAA committee playing well at the end of the season. More importantly, though, they get that bye in that Southwest Conference tournament later in the year. But more importantly, it's Texas pride on the line.
That's for sure. And Chris Fowler, the last two games here, 125, 123, 105, 103. No lack of scoring. Let's go back to you in the studio.
Get your voice ready, Ron. We look forward to a fun one, maybe the biggest night coming up in a minute.
Perfect matchup between the Horns and the Red Raiders. And now let's take a look at the McDonald's starting lineup for the Texas Longhorns. Head coach Tom Penders. Tonight we'll see Rich McIver in the middle, Carlton Dixon and Tremaine Wingfield to start at the forwards, Terrence Rencher and Roderick Anderson, the 5'10 senior. And he has been having an awfully good year. Tonight is the night he needs to step up big again. For James Dickey of the Texas Tech Red Raiders, Jason Martin, Lance Hughes at the guards, Jason Sasser, Mark Davis, Darvin Ham in the middle, and Mark Davis, a 6'7 senior, and a young man that a team-high 9 double-doubles. He also has 2 triple-doubles. Very important to this Red Raider ball club. Ball is in the air, tip goes to the backcourt, and it will come to the Red Raiders. And this is Martin, number 13.
Texas opens up in a straight man-to-man defense. Here's the trap.
Stolen. Roderick Anderson and Martin will pick up the foul as he reached out and grabbed it. Now the officials in tonight's ball game. Well, this is a great crew here. The referee, Don Rutledge. The 2 umpires, Jerry Donahue and Rusty Herring.
Let's see how Texas Tech opens up in their defense. They're straight man-to-man. Again, the 1-4 setup. Rencher up high. Hughes guarding him. Tough, tough assignment.
Rencher straight in, blocked by Davis. Knocked out of bounds by the Red Raiders, and it will stay with the Horns.
Yeah, Ryan, this game is really shaped up. It's the Texas backcourt against the Texas Tech front court. Texas Tech loves to dunk and block shots. Texas, on the other hand, loves the three-point shooting, and they love the pressure.
Off Anderson. Texas Tech ball. Yeah, close call games. I talked about the double overtime, the 128-125, then 105-103, and then Texas won it in 92, 93, 90. This series has been close in recent years. It's a very high-scoring affair. In the middle, knocked away by Wingfield.
Nice ball movement by Texas Tech.
3 on the way, and he puts up an air ball. Davis well off the mark on that one. Rencher left alone, and he will miss on a 3. And the Red Raiders will push it right back up, and they have numbers at 3-2.
Now they're not going to back up. I guess we're going to get into triple digits again this year, huh?
Sasser with his first 2 of the night as the Red Raiders go on top. And after the Butterflies get away on this one, I think it will be up and down all night. Be surprised if it were not. Anderson lost the handle, battles for it, turnover against the Longhorns. And the Red Raiders can't stand prosperity as they turn it over.
I think the adrenaline's running at a pretty high level right now. Both of these clubs may be a little out of control. There's a good steal by Martin, holding his defensive position against Anderson, who's trying to penetrate and come up with one, and they throw it away. Watch the Texas alignment on offense. It's a 1-4 alignment. Then they come with a high post pick. Anderson trying to use it right here.
Anderson dishes to the corner. Dixon for 3. In and out. The follow by McIver, and Texas is on the board.
Well, they let McIver come to the game tonight, but they wouldn't let him come to the shoot-around today.
Tell me exactly what that story was about. I heard the players laughing about it as they came to the shoot-around.
Actually, what happened was they had an optional shoot-around at the Temple game, and he opted not to shoot. In fact, he stayed home and slept and had a great game against Temple. So he got on the bus today as they see a basket scored by Tech, and they threw him off the bus. The players said, "You're not riding with us. You can't go." They let him play tonight, though.
Had a good omen, and they wanted to stay with it. Red Raiders are 15-7 on the year. The Longhorns are 17-5.
McIver wants it inside.
Dixon drives it all the way to the hoop. Had it partially blocked on the way to the hoop, and the freshman was denied.
Boy, Martin Davis with good defensive work inside. Good trap there by Texas, and Martin gets through it.
Martin lost it, dishes it off the hand. That's a nice give and an easy 2, and it's a 4-point Red Raider margin.
Around this first game that these two clubs played, they had played a number of games leading up to that contest, and Tom Penders told me it was very sloppily played because, like tonight, they may have a little bit better game.
McIver tried to reverse it. He'll come back out on top. And Anderson almost lost it.
Texas Tech doing a nice job of keeping the ball away from the inside. Making it tough on Anderson and Richter. This great backcourt of Texas. Maybe as good as anybody in the country. Any pair.
Anderson, he got bumped on the way to the hoop. Sasser dishes inside, and Davis dishes it off the glass. And it's an 8-2 Texas Tech lead.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. These three guys are going to let him play tonight.
Almost stolen, taken back by Anderson. There are some awfully quick hands on the floor.
I'll tell you, Jason Martin is extremely quick guarding Anderson.
Dixon into the middle. Unlucky on the shot, and Davis comes down with the rebound, and the Longhorns getting only one opportunity and unable to follow it up with an offensive board.
Good pass.
Ham misses the hoop, but he traveled.
Number 32, Reggie Freeman in for Texas.
Reggie Freeman checks into the lineup for the Longhorns. Dixon will go to the bench. As Tom Penders looks on as his ball club has only scored 2 points in the first 4 minutes. And at the clip they score at, this is well below their pace.
Well, you're looking at some of the leading scoring teams in the nation, not just in the conference. Jerry Donahue may have Martin going to the bench with some blood.
Took a look at him, and Donahue called the timeout, patted his chest, and you can see that the youngster's lip has been hit. So Coy Smith, a junior, 2-year letterman out of Hale Center, Texas, will check in. He's 6'5".
One of the signs of the 90s, huh?
Boy, I like the rule, though. I think it's a good rule.
I do, too.
Way outside. Anderson, and he swishes a three.
That long range.
He almost shot that from Hale Center.
Pressure again by Texas.
Pass inside. It has been left open, and Tech again scores. As the middle, when you concentrate 3 out front, Larry, sometimes you have to give up something inside.
Well, it was a nice move by Ham in there. Look at this 1-4 alignment. Texas will do this all night. They'll try to isolate and use those guards.
Reggie Freeman left alone. The southpaw with the 3. So all of a sudden, the Horns warm it up with back-to-back 3-pointers, and it's a 10-8 ball game.
They got some guys that can shoot them. Richter can throw them up there. Freeman, Anderson.
Speaking of somebody who can light it up, Hughes for 3. He's unlucky on the shot. An over-the-back whistle on the foul against Texas Tech, and Rusty Herring says, "I called the foul, Jason Sasser. Don't talk back to me." So let's take a break. Timeout with a 15:06 left until halftime. 2-point Red Raider lead. Raiders of the Longhorns, including 2 years ago when Will Flemons was the hero.
Causing my hand, I just put it up off the glass into the square, and I knew when I put it up it was going in. And the first thing I remember is Jason Sasser running down court. I don't know who he was running to or from, but it was very exciting. I mean, the fans poured on the court. It was one of the greatest memories I'll ever have at Texas Tech.
that was Will Flemons a couple of years ago, and now you look at a Will Flemons who is an assistant basketball coach here at Texas Tech for head coach James Dickey. Very nice young man.
He just traded one suit for another one, didn't he?
And it looks very at home in this one, doesn't it?
Texas Tech back into his own defense now. They didn't like having to play that one-on-one out top with Anderson and Rincher handling the basketball, so James Dickey decides to go to zone.
Freeman may have gotten away with the travel as he got into the lane and the quick second step, and we're tied at 10. Texas Tech shooting 71% in the early going, Larry. 5 of 7.
Look at Davis going inside.
Davis with the reverse.
Mark Davis.
I got to tell you, Ron, this one guy, when I was looking at the stats for this game, this guy impressed me so much. I mean, he just does everything. He rebounds. He passes. Great on defense. He just does everything for this club.
Inside, Tremaine Wingfield.
Nice
Dishes
pass.
it off. Left all alone was McIver.
Well,
now, Wingfield is one you have to keep an eye on. He turned his ankle last night in practice. They taped him doubly hard today. He doesn't seem to be missing anything. And from deep in the corner, Satcher hits a 3. 5 points for him. Rincher with the spin move. High arcing shot. Wingfield with the tip, and he's going to be called for the violation. He was over the back.
Kind of an interesting move right there. Tremaine Wingfield actually tried to go up, and he felt like he was held on the arm. He was trying to push it off with his left arm. Watch again. Here's the move by Rincher down the middle into the lane, deep. The high lofting shot off of the rim. Now watch here. See, he's got a hold of him on the shoulder as he was trying to get up. That's a way to rebound. Just hold on to the guy and kind of propel yourself off of him.
Foul is on number 12, Roderick Anderson.
Anderson picks up the foul for Texas. It is his first and the team's second. 75% for Texas Tech, 40% for the Longhorns. Lance Hughes, he tried to free him in the middle, puts up the soft jumper, not there. Wingfield battles for it, and he'll come down with it. And what I started to say just before they hit the 3, his ankle doesn't seem to be bothering him now, Larry.
Tell you what, he and Rincher has a bad wrist, too. Had it hurting him in the Temple game. Not now, though.
With the reverse, he's a left-hander, and he put it up with his right.
We asked him today at the shoot-around about that, and he said it's okay.
Something he's had to play with, and he said, I just don't get enough rest to be able to get a rest. Whistle on a foul outside, and let's see it. I think it is going to be
Foul is on number 32, Reggie Freeman.
Reggie Freeman called for the foul, his first.
Watch the move by Rincher right here, going down and deep and inside. Tried to swat from the backside, Mark Davis. You got to get in front of that guy.
Hughes for 3. Now this guy here starts lighting it up. Hang on, because he can really do it.
Well, he hit 7 threes against Houston last week.
Anderson misses on the driving layup. Almost had an opportunity at a 3-point play. Coy Smith picks up the foul, his first, and the third team foul.
Tom Penders told me tonight before the game, he says, I'm really going to try to take advantage of Hughes if I can. He said, if he's guarding one of my guys out front, I don't think he's very good defensively, and we're going to try to take advantage of it. They did early, and immediately Texas Tech went to a zone.
Ham goes to the bench. Tony Bate checks into the lineup. In fact, defensively, we may see a lot of experimenting tonight with the two coaches as the chess match continues as to what is going to work, because the 1-4 Tech does not like Texas in that offense.
There are lots of defenses you're going to see from this Texas club. I know that Tom Penders will fool around with a box and a chaser. Likes to play a little matchup zone, full court press, half court. Right now he's in his full court press.
Anderson now with 5 points. Tech quickly to the other end. Sasser with a high archer. Can't get it. And it's Rincher with the rebound. And Rincher,
nice pass
out in the corner. Freeman for 3, and he knocks down his second one.
Oh, what a trio that is. Anderson, Rincher, and Freeman. All 3 of those guys can deliver those shots. That was a nice pass by Rincher, getting deep into the defense.
Yeah, it was, and that's 8 quick points for Freeman off the bench. Smith driving hard to the hoop, knocks it back out to Anderson. Texas will push it up, and Anderson will go coast to coast, and he was fouled. Mark Davis gets the foul.
Here's some of the top backcourts we think there are in the country. Look at Anderson and Richer. Points per game, assists per game. Snow and Resper, great pair up at Michigan State. Beston, Berry at Georgia Tech. Knight and Cross at Stanford. I tell you what, you put those numbers up there, you got to say Texas has got the best backcourt right now. They match up pretty well against those other combos.
Well, look at those numbers. 20-plus points, 15 of the 22 games for this young man. Davis with his first foul, and team fouls now against the Red Raiders, a total of 4, as we are about to go under 12 minutes in this opening half. It's been a very speedy one.
You know, something about Anderson I find intriguing is the fact that he is number 13 in the NCAA in assists, but he's tied for first in the NCAA in steals. Does a little bit of everything.
Davis, hard to the hoop, can't get it to go. They battle inside, and on the follow, can't get it to go, but Sasser's going to go to the line.
Texas Tech Club is one of the best rebounding teams in the country, Ron, and they're showing it right now. That was good offensive glass work.
His first foul, team foul number 4.
Well, following our games are going to be taking you to McGonigal Hall as Temple will take on number 5 UMass. And they're exciting forward Lou Rowe, John Saunders, Bill Raftery for that one. 9 o'clock Eastern time. And then midnight, get the chance to see Ed O'Bannon, the number 2 Bruins of UCLA against Cal. Both games later tonight right here on ESPN.
I think UCLA is about ready to propel themselves into that number 1 position. Nobody else seems to want to hold on to it.
I know that Jimmy Herrick, his ball club, boy, they are very, very tough.
Watched your game Monday with the Kansas-Oklahoma. Great basketball game. Kansas got to number 1, and Oklahoma really rose to the occasion.
Kelvin Sampson has done an outstanding job there. Push. Hughes is going to go to the line.
Texas Tech Club has a rebound margin of 10, which is one of the best in the country. Tell you what, they're getting on the offensive end of it pretty strong right now.
That's 2
Watch
fouls.
the move down inside. Ooh, strong move.
McIver picks up the foul. It's his second, so he'll go to the bench. And it means that Sonny Alvarado, 0-0, will come in for Texas. Sasser. Hughes battles. Who touched the glass? Touched last for the Red Raiders. It'll be the Horns. 21-18, Texas.
Hey, one thing, when Sasser shoots it, it goes up in the air, doesn't it?
Who does that remind you of? You do Arkansas a lot. Scotty Thurman,
yeah,
really
exactly,
high-arching shot. That's, in fact, that's the first thing it made me think of when I saw him shoot.
Here comes that high post screen for Anderson.
Freeman, he's got the hot hand, in and out, unlucky on that one as he rat-a-tatted, and the ball came out.
Nice catch, Davis. What a great lead pass by Martin.
8 points for him now.
Keep your head up. You might find some friendly faces up there. Well, Martin delivered that pass. That was a terrific catch on the other end by Davis.
Bounce pass into Wingfield. Strong move to the hoop, and just not much that Sasser could do. First 2 for Wingfield.
Freeman's responsibility is Davis. Watch him go down inside. Nice pass again.
Tony Batty, the freshman, right out of high school from Dallas, 6'9", takes it up to the hoop strong, and it's a 1-point Texas lead. Oh, good dish, and Alvarado partially blocked inside. Wingfield scores, and they'll have an opportunity for a 3-point play. Batty picks up the foul.
Anderson's so tough handling that basketball out front. 7 assists a game. When he goes deep in like that, you've got to respect his passing ability. If you come and get him, he'll drop it off. He's a good one. Watch Anderson go deep here. There's his target, Sonny Alvarado. How good would Texas have been this year if he had played in the 8 games he was injured? He came in as newcomer of the year into the Southwest Conference this year.
Injured his knee in December. Cleared to play again in late January, early February, and he has come back and, as Larry said, really helped out, because then the other people who were playing in his stead gave Texas even more depth inside.
Violation there on the free throw. Lance Hughes just took a stroll.
Misses on that one. Tech has the board. About to go under 10 minutes left in this opening half. And what started off was a very low-scoring game. And Alvarado with a foul away from the ball. Through an elbow, says Jerry Donahue.
Foul is on number 00, Sonny Alvarado, his first foul. Team foul number 6.
So let's take a timeout. Good look at the down court pass to Davis a moment ago. Horns by 3. His clutch shot sent the game into overtime. B.J. Tyler put the Horns up by 1 until Mark Davis's free throw tied it again. But in the second overtime, Tech took control to win 128 to 125. Mark Davis with the school's first ever triple-double. Well, there's a look at Mark Davis tonight. 28 points last year, 17 rebounds, and 11 assists. And tonight, he's off to a very good start. He's got 8 points. And we haven't played 10 minutes yet.
And Ron, he leads his club in rebounding, assists, blocks, and steals, and he's third in scoring. What else? Sells popcorn?
You think he's one of those that some of the scouts that are here tonight are looking at, right?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I mean, you got a 6'7" guard. He is so good with the ball.
Martin driving to the hoop, couldn't get it. Sasser follows and reverses it in.
They got 3 big scores, though. Sasser at 18, Davis at 17, Hughes at 17. Tell you what, we got a bunch of guys out here throwing in some points. In fact, when I was looking at the top 10 scorers in the Southwest Conference, 5 of them are in this game.
Anderson penetrates, knocks it down as he got Martin taking him into the paint.
Hard for me to believe that Anderson was cut from his junior college team at Garden City. How can you cut this guy? Oh, my goodness, can he play?
These guys have to get excited about playing each other. They're both the same size at 5'10". Although both are listed at 5'10", and Martin looks just about an inch or so shorter, doesn't he?
He does, yes.
Maybe it's shorter tennis shoes. Hughes way outside.
That's NBA range.
6 points for him. Rencher does not have an answer.
Well, I love the way Martin keeps his head up and looks up the floor for guys streaking to the other end. There's that man.
Hughes got it again. All 3 of his baskets are 3.
His last 3 games, he's 16 of 31 from three-point range. He's already got 3 in this one.
Larry, almost 60% his last 2 games from three-point range.
I think Simpson just got tossed.
Simpson going to the bench as Rusty Herring has gone over to talk to Tom Penders.
I saw the indication by Jerry Donahue pointing to the locker room. I think Carl Simpson, he has been ejected, yes. Obviously a flagrant foul. I'm trying to see who's down on the floor underneath the basket there.
I'd like to remind you that you must refrain from throwing objects onto the court. It's dangerous and unfair to participants and could result in a technical foul. Arena security personnel have been instructed to remove any person from the premises who throws any object onto the court.
Battee is the only one I can't account for, Larry, and I assume that's who it is.
He must have taken a real shot. I just turned around and looked down and saw him laying on the floor, and I saw the whistle blow, or heard the whistle blow, and I saw the point by Donahue. He just pointed to Simpson and said, "You're out of here."
He's got to go to the bench. He can't stay down there.
He's got to leave. You know, we had this happen to us once before this year.
It was in Iowa.
An Iowa Northwestern game. You've got to leave the bench when you've been ejected. Well, what Simpson gave Texas was a guy who was a strong rebounder. They're not going to have that tonight. He's going to have to go in there and watch this one on a monitor.
So the senior out of Galveston is ejected for a flagrant foul. He has headed up the tunnel, and as Larry said, he's going to have to watch this one on a monitor back there. 30-27, the score. In the situation, we have 8:54 left until halftime. Texas Tech on top.
Obviously, Texas with possession loses possession. 2 shots on the technical, and Texas Tech gets the ball.
Coy Smith sinks the first one.
Well, he's the right guy to shoot free throws. He's shooting 83%.
And now the Texas Tech possession, so it's a 5-point lead. And the ball comes to the other end of the floor, and that's where the Red Raiders will start it off. And now we see Texas coming to set up for full court.
It's like a straight man-to-man defense, and Coy Smith bringing it up against Freeman. Get a little rough out there, Ron.
Yep, and I think that's one of the reasons that he was tossed as quickly as he was. Alvarado just ran to Don Rutledge, the referee coming down.
Yes, sir.
Tip inside, whistle and a foul, and it's going to be over the back against Texas Tech.
Well, Rencher made a nice move that time. He got deep into the lane. Ball wouldn't stay down for him. Texas doing a good job on that backboard.
Mark Davis picks up the foul. It's his second. Second foul on Davis, and the 6th team foul against the Red Raiders, as Tom Penders Jr. checks into the ball game, and Tommy will pull the trigger on the inbounds pass.
Tom Sr. told me he's going to play baseball next year.
Yeah.
And this year, after he finishes basketball.
Shot is good, and Anderson will go to the line. You know, one of the things that people forget about, Tom Penders played basketball at UConn, but probably baseball was his best sport.
Watch Anderson go against Martin down deep inside. So tough to stop him one-on-one. Averaging 21 a game, and as quick as Jason Martin is, it's still tough to try to keep up with Roderick Anderson.
And now that's the second foul on Jason Martin. And the one thing that James Dickey does not want to see happen, he doesn't want to see Davis or Martin pick up that 3rd foul in his first half, because that really puts him in a tough situation as far as substitution.
Nice pass.
Tip inside, won't go by Hughes.
Well, you got to be able to finish that. Martin did everything he was asked of him.
Coy Smith. No, beg your pardon? Mark Davis, just what I was talking about. Just picked up his 3rd foul.
Watch right here. Little ball fake, little hesitation, crossover dribble. What did he get him for? Tripping? Is that what he called him?
That's what Jerry Donahue said. He said he reached out and tripped him with his left foot. So the young man who has 8 quick points has picked up his 3rd personal foul and has to go to the bench. And that's huge for the Red Raiders.
Well, he really is. You talk about heart and soul of a club. This guy is everything from a technical standpoint. The rebounding, the assists, the steals, the handling of the ball. For him to be on the bench for this final 8:03 of the first half does not sit well for these Red Raiders.
Larry, he's almost got to do that until halftime, does he? He certainly can't take a chance on a 4.
Oh, no, I wouldn't bring him back. There's no way you put him back in this game with 3 fouls.
Freeman knocks down the second one, and it's a 1-point Texas Tech lead. Hughes working against Penders. Penders knocks it away. It's on the floor, and a foul is going to be called against Texas Tech. And Sasser whistled for the violation.
Anderson was in position to pick the basketball up. James Dickey a little incredulous about with the look to the official. I think Don Rutledge is saying that's enough. But watch the ball loose now. Anderson's going to come up with it. He jumped on his leg. Anderson looked around and says, yeah, I should get the call.
That's 19 fouls against Texas Tech. And, of course, Texas has committed 7.
I sort of get the feeling there's no love lost between these two clubs or these two schools. Would you agree with that? You live down here. You spend time with these guys.
I don't think there's any question. The interesting thing about it is Tom Penders was complaining to Don Rutledge about something, and it was like Rutledge says, you have nothing to complain about. You just got the call. Tied at 32.
Maybe a good thing we do have a good crew tonight. These two clubs will really get into it.
Misses on the second. Texas Tech will come away with the rebound. It's Jason Sasser. Smith deep in the corner. Got it. Coy Smith way down in the corner.
Look at the quickness of Anderson.
Penders off the mark with that one. And on the attempt for the rebound, Dixon can't hold on. So there's a timeout on the floor. 7:29 left until the halftime. The Red Raiders by 3. Oh, you see the highlighted area. And away from the ball, watch the elbow that is thrown by Simpson. Right there. Hits Battie and he goes down. We had just been told it is a mild concussion. Blow to the cheekbone. He possibly could return. But immediately the officials say flagrant foul. Simpson, you're out of here, and he was ejected from the ball game.
Ron, I think you bring up a good point, something we were talking about while we were away at commercial, and I think you ought to talk about it.
You know, on a flagrant foul like that, I'm not so sure that it should not be treated just like fighting, that you ought to have to sit out the next game as well, because there is absolutely no reason for that retort. I don't care what anybody's done to you, because the young man has a concussion now because of that, and he was defenseless at the time.
Hughes with good follow. Lance Hughes having a great first half for these Red Raiders. 3 threes and a nice follow on that one.
Perryman, a three-point shooter for the Horns, checks into the lineup. Anderson way outside, and he got an air ball on that one.
Oh, Tom Penders is really upset. He's going to take a timeout. Going to take a 20-second timeout. And Tom Penders is all over Anderson. You know, he said to me before the game today, he says, I don't want a game that's got triple digits in it tonight. I'd like to keep it in the 70s or 80s. He says, we don't want to run up and down the floor away from home. Look at him. He is all over Anderson.
Well, don't miss the high-octane offense of the Chicago Blackhawks coming up on Sunday. It's February the 26th, 8 o'clock Eastern Time live. The Chicago Blackhawks against the Dallas Stars. That's coming up this Sunday right here on ESPN. Boy, that picture tells the entire story.
If looks could kill, I think Anderson would be about 6 feet under right now.
I think he might be up in the locker room with Simpson if he had someone to replace him right now. Boy, was he hot. Stepped on the baseline. Turnover against Texas Tech.
Texas Tech again back into that zone defense. Let's see if Anderson is cool. He's not even looking at the basket now.
Anderson. Perryman way outside, off the mark with his.
That's a good move. Actually, Perryman had no chance to come and block that shot. He tried to get to the ball when he had it down, but Sasser, much too strong in the break, filling that lane. Watch him run out here. Look at the run out. Wide open, hand up, calling for the ball. He got it. Perryman got him on the arm. Sasser trying to take the blow and get the basket.
19 fouls against the Longhorns.
How about that for the last 5 games? 25 points and 8 rebounds. Tell you what, these guys can put up some impressive numbers.
Sasser now 8 points and 6 assists in this game. Just over 6 minutes to play until halftime.
You know what? When Mark Davis went to the bench, Sasser's game really has picked up. I mean, he's done some things that Davis ordinarily would do for his club.
Well, it's one of those situations where somebody's got to step up in leadership.
Well, it's all going Texas Tech's way right now.
Texas had that big spurt, the big momentum, and all of a sudden it went away. As Anderson dishes, nice feed to Alvarado. Because with the penetration, they concentrated on Anderson. Alvarado left all alone. 5-point Texas Tech lead.
Good trap that time by Texas. Good handle by Tech.
He's fouled by Wingfield.
Roderick Anderson in his last 2 games has averaged 20 points and 10 assists. Watch the way he makes the cut through the lane on this zone. Go to the corner, get it back. Opening on the baseline, I'll take it. Goes down inside, looks, delivers to Alvarado, and an easy basket. Roderick Anderson with a nice look. Tell you, whatever the message was that Tom Penders delivered to Anderson, it was heard succinctly, and he got his pass where it should have been. That man can deliver verbal as well as anybody I have ever heard. I can tell you, I've listened to him. He knows how to throw the words out to his guys when they're not doing the job. An Easterner who has resided in Texas and loves his job, doing a terrific job down there.
He's made a lot of friends down in Austin. McIver pulls down the rebound after Tech gets 1, so it's 40-34. Red Raiders by 6. Renters, good bounce pass, Alvarado. McIver with the follow and he'll score.
Texas getting the ball inside against that Texas Tech zone defense and getting it in there with regularity.
McIver now with 6 points. Larry, do you get the feeling that defensively, as Anderson almost comes up with another steal?
Look how quick he is. He almost got it again.
Hughes, look in hand with the jam, and Hughes fouled. Fouled by Freeman.
Boy, what a terrific look on the inside. The pass by Hughes, and it was Ham what Ham all the way in. Darvin Ham on the catch, and the foul.
Number 13, Brandy Perry.
Look at this look by Hughes. That's terrific. That's great teamwork.
Number 20, Darvin Ham. Shooting 1.
I love his nickname, Ham Dunk.
There's a group of people across the way that have a big sign saying Ham fans. 43-36. And the Longhorns need to get something going right here because I think halftime lead could be very big as far as momentum in this ball game. Anderson strong to the hoop. Alvarado with the follow and gets the 2.
I'll tell you, Ron, Alvarado off the bench has played very well for Texas.
McIver limping strongly back up the floor. He came down wrong. 3-pointer on the way, in and out, tipped outside in the battle for it, and Carr comes away with it.
Nice pass by Ham.
Sasser with the 2.
The long pass. Texas unaware.
Sasser with 11 first-half points.
Red Raiders staying right with that zone. Opening couple of minutes, they were in a straight man-to-man. Didn't feel like they could handle Texas. Renter outside.
Renter left alone, and he drains a 3. Until that moment, you got the feeling that Tech was pushing Texas just beyond where they were comfortable in shooting the ball. And it really was having an effect. Sasser. Ham battles. Hughes with the foul.
He just comes up with a lot of loose balls. He can shoot the 3. He gets it done on the inside. Lance Hughes everywhere tonight. What a terrific first half.
Lance Hughes with 13 first-half points.
Alvarado right back again. Boy, he played well off that bench. 0-0.
6 points for Sonny Alvarado.
With the steal and the dive.
And right here behind us, Alvarado coming over the table in trying to get that steal, and the youngster is down on his all fours right here behind us as the Texas trainers come over the bench to try to help him.
Ron, he really took a spill. When he got that steal, he jumped right over the table. It was almost like a hurdle. Looked like he hit his left shoulder on that brace, which is where the seats sit.
Well, what an effort by Sonny Alvarado. And you can see Scott Jones, the trainer for Texas. Now he's going to have to take the long walk down the table to get back out on the floor. So let's take a break with him. And talk about effort. Watch this.
Tell you one thing, he makes my all-tattoo team and my all-dive team. I give him about an 8+ on that. Watch him come up with a steal, then he got it back, got it to Anderson. He gets fouled, gets the basket. Alvarado off on the bench having a terrific game. He's going to take a little breather right now.
Alvarado hurt 6 points. 6 points since he's come off the bench, and a play like that which resulted in a 2-pointer, maybe a 3-pointer if his teammate gets it. You have to say he's singularly responsible for Texas gaining momentum coming back in this late in the first half. Anderson gets it. He's got 15. Boy, Anderson and Hughes have been the scoring machines in this first half, and also Sasser with 11 first half points for the Red Raiders. Nice drive to the hoop, and Carr with 2. Nobody picked him up.
You know, Ron, that's the point I was going to make. There was nobody there to stop the baseline drive that time. You got to get in there and stop that drive.
Jerry Donahue comes over and tells James Dickey, and it goes to the scorer's table to say that the Tech is knocking the ball back onto the court so that it cannot be inbounded quickly. It's a warning. If it happens again, it'll be a technical foul.
Alvarado back in the lineup for Texas. He didn't take much of a breather. I think maybe he may have bruised this brace over here when he hit it.
I'll tell you, that young lady, the female reporter down the way, was diving to save her life.
She had her parachute out.
Yeah, it's a good thing she has quick reactions.
She was bailing in a hurry.
Rensher.
Rensher's starting to feel it now. He's starting to feel it.
That's now 7 points
Anderson
for him.
with a steal.
Anderson with the steal and 2 more.
That's what Texas does. They just hit you so quickly like lightning bolts.
And just like that, the Longhorns down by 7. All of a sudden, they're up by 1. 3-pointer on the way. Off the mark. The Red Raiders with another rebound. But big Bernard Lloyd can't get the follow to go.
Rensher again. Is he going to go up? Boy, Anderson really paid attention to what Tom Penders has said. He has slowed his game down, got himself under control.
Dixon. Dixon misses. Alvarado on the follow, and Lloyd with the block. Alley-oop, boy, it would have sent the roof off this place, but it was just a little too high. Well, coming up at a halftime, it's the Delta Faucet halftime report with Chris Fowler. We'll be talking about Metro Bubble Talk, Digger's Hidden Gems, scores and highlights.
I'll tell you an interesting stat. I was looking at the standings the other day. The Metro Conference was the only league I saw in the country that had every team with an overall above 500 record.
That's great. Whistle and a foul away from the ball.
Hey, Ron, I think we're on track for another 100-point-plus game tonight by both these clubs.
Correction. Foul is on number 33, Carlton Dixon. Sorry about that.
Carlton Dixon picks up the foul. They announced Sasser first. It is on Dixon. 33 for Texas. And Dixon goes straight to the bench as he's been replaced. And we have 1 minute, 15 seconds left until halftime. Texas with a 1-point lead. Boy, Larry, the last 2 you and I have done together have been very rough. Haven't they?
They have indeed.
I'll tell you, in case you missed the early going on this one, we've had an ejection. Carl Simpson of the Longhorns with what was called a flagrant foul with an elbow to the head of Tony Battie. Battie has gone to the bench with a mild concussion. They don't know if he'll return or not.
Now, these clubs had an ugly incident last year, I think you'll recall, at the end of the game. I don't think that blood is still running a little bad between these two.
Perryman for 3. In and out, won't go.
Martin wanted to get it to Carr, and a good job by Perryman to get back and stop the pass.
Carl on that baseline, pulls up, jumper is not there. Perryman dishes it off to Rensher.
They can hold it for the last shot. Looks like they're going to.
Yep, and Martin is going to push Anderson out as far as he can. Red Raiders with a 1-point lead. Perryman for 3. In and out again. 1 second. And we are at a halftime. So let's take a break here on the South Plain, Lubbock, Texas. It is Texas Tech 51 and the Longhorns of Texas 50. Chris Fowler, let's go back to you at the studio.
Ron, thank you. We called it.
We had to show you the shot right here. This little lady goes to Digger Phelps Barber, and who also does coloration. Anyway, some of the fans here tonight to see the Red Raiders taking on the Longhorns. Larry, in looking at the first half, a really interesting number. The last time the Texas Tech and Texas played, Red Raiders had 29 turnovers. They had 9 in the first half. But the thing that was difficult, they didn't get points off the turnover in the first half.
Yeah, they didn't. But I'll tell you, in the first half, they had 2 outstanding stars. Lance Hughes really led this Red Raider club. And I'm talking about both inside and outside. Watch him follow up this rebound down on the inside on the miss. Ham battling with it, then he gets it, sticks it back in. He had 13 in the first half, but he can also shoot from the outside. He was 3 of 4 from three-point range. Lance Hughes with the big 13 points and 5 rebounds in that first half. But it was also Jason Sasser. He had 13 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Opportunistic, right place, right time. Sasser right there to put it back in. Wasn't just Texas Tech, though. Roderick Anderson was outstanding on defense for Texas in the first half. Here you see one of his steals and one of his baskets. Roderick Anderson came up with big numbers in the first half with 17.
Well, let's look at the field of first half stats. 56% field goal percentage for the Red Raiders. Rebounds, they lead by 4 over Texas, but it points off turnover, what I was talking about, 12-2, and a big margin defensively. That's been the big stat for the Texas Longhorns. Individually, Anderson 17, Lance Hughes with 13.
Jason Sasser also had 13 in that first half.
Anderson on the penetration, nobody picked him up.
Number 12, Roderick Anderson.
Tell you one thing you're going to see when you see Texas and Texas Tech play in Lubbock, you're going to get 200 points whether you want it or not.
Isn't that the truth? Three-pointer on the way, not there, and Texas comes up with a rebound by McIver. One of the things that Tech did a good job of in the first half is Wingfield catches Texas Tech not doing a good job in transition.
Well, Texas opens up the second half with 2 quick buckets.
Sasser has it taken away by Rensher.
Look at them push. Well, they continue to push the ball. So much pressure.
Anderson passes up the 3, goes into corner to Freeman.
Texas Tech's changed defenses. They've gone to a man-to-man. They've gone out of that zone.
Texas trying to take advantage of it, and another penetration.
And immediately the recognition, and James Dickey says, let's talk. 20-20.
So it's 56-51. Let's take a look at this penetration here.
Well, once again, the recognition by the Texas offense. You can see the move right there by Reggie Freeman. Once he sees the man-to-man defense, it's simply one-on-one. He's going to take Davis. A good move because Davis has got 3 fouls.
It's a great point, because the minute he came back on the floor, you got to make him a guy with the X on his chest and say, here's a guy that we got to take advantage of.
Well, they hit the target that time. They went right to the basket. And a good move by Reggie Freeman. Out of the Bronx, New York, he and Terrence Rensher. kind of an interesting mix, I think, that Tom Penders will be able to put in here. Boys in the hood, and boys on the hood.
Good way to put it, yeah. 56-51 and the 6-0 run by the Longhorns. McIver got fooled, got caught up in the air. Crowd thought that he was trying to rough him up, but the situation was he suspended him, and he was trying to keep him from coming up underneath his head. Watch it.
The one thing you want to make sure of is you don't want to allow this guy to make the basket. Just make sure he doesn't get it up. He did.
So McIver now with 3 fouls. First foul of the second half against Texas.
I always like those guys that commit real good fouls. You know, you just don't allow the guy to get the shot off. Don't maim anybody. Don't hurt anybody. You know, but just don't let him get the shot off. Not those ticky-tacks. Make sure you get your money's worth.
McIver started off at the University of Michigan and then transferred to Texas. Crowd doesn't always like that, though, when one of the home guys gets sent flying. 3-point game, Texas.
Well, you'll hear coaches talk about that. You know, say just foul him hard, don't hurt them. Just don't let him get the basket.
Screen out high. Anderson tries to work off that, works with the penetration, and throws it away. As Mark Davis was just standing right there in the passing lane, and Rencher is going to be called for a kick.
Oh, what a great catch that was by the official. That ball was moving very quickly down through there, and Rusty Herring picked it up and said, well, I saw it kick. No argument from Rencher either. Watch the move. Davis trying to come across the lane right here. Rencher, you know what? He got it with his hand.
He did.
He got it with his hand. That happened so quickly, I didn't know how the official could see that, but he did. He got it with his hand. But they don't have the luxury of being able to look at the tape.
That's right. You can bet when Tom Penders sees it on the tape, though, he will grimace. 10 points. Up over the back, McIver's just picked up his 4th. And Alvarado with the warm-up off, and he'll come right back in.
What a luxury Tom Penders has to be able to reach down on that bench and grab somebody like Alvarado to put in for McIver.
But now, with the fact that Simpson is in the locker room having been ejected, it means that Alvarado has got to stay foul-free in the second half.
Well, you're a little short on the front court when you've got one of your mainstays in there watching the game. Assuming he's got a TV. Good ball movement by Texas Tech.
Good look. Sasser misses the ball at point-blank range, then has it picked out of his hands. It'll stay with the Red Raiders, though.
Boy, did Martin make a nice pass to Sasser inside.
1-point game. Rencher this time against Martin. Can't get it, but Wingfield on the follow. And Rencher right there, nobody boxed him out.
No, they didn't, but they didn't block out on the inside Tremaine Wingfield either. Texas up by 3 and back in the zone.
Martin and Ham battle for it. The bounce pass comes out to Anderson, and Davis will block it. Freeman right there to follow, and all he could do is try to block it with the 3 fouls.
Hey, you know what? Davis just turned and looked at his teammates and said, where are you guys? I made my defensive play. I blocked the ball. You should have been here to help me. And I agree with him. He's right. Texas back in what looks like a man-to-man defense. They keep changing. A little matchup zone. Alvarado took the fake.
Sasser, another one of those rainbow arches. 3-point game. Tech cuts it back.
There's that 1-4 alignment again, Texas Tech. They want to isolate. Got such good guards, they can handle it one-on-one. Now they move back into a zone.
Rencher for 3. Hughes unlucky on that shot. Hughes and Perryman both have had shots that looked like they went all the way down and came back out. Turnover. It's Mark Davis. Martin behind it back to Ham, and he missed it.
Well, Martin has made some great passes tonight, and they've just not been able to finish.
Freeman.
Number 31.
Well, that is a tough three-guard lineup when you've got those guys out there, Freeman, Anderson, and Rincher.
Freeman has now got 16, Roderick Anderson with 19, and Rincher with 9.
Not bad to have a guy like Reggie Freeman come off the bench for you.
Sasser for 3. Nope, they say 2. I beg your pardon. Had a foot on the line. 19 points for Sasser.
Tell you what, you could call a 20-second timeout between the release of his shot and the time it goes through the net. And take it, and have everybody on the bench and come back.
We've already played the first 5 minutes of the second half. This thing is steaming along. Wingfield, in and out, won't go. They battle inside, and a foul on Alvarado.
Good job by Jerry Donahue. Broke that one up before it became too bad. Alvarado went one way, Jason Sasser the other, with a little help from their teammates. Don Rutledge, a little conversation with Alvarado. They get locked up in the arms right here.
Celtics take a break. We'll be right back.
Watch Mark Davis work into the corner, calling for the ball, wanting a 3. Doesn't get it. The turnover. Now watch what he does. Watch his reaction. He's moving. He sees the ball's lost. Now he's going to follow it up. He sees Anderson. Anderson sees him. Watch the block. Now he did his job, but nobody's there to help him. What does Davis say? Hey guys, I need some help. Where are you? I agree with you, Mark. You should be complaining to your teammates.
You know, Larry, he went out in the first half with his 3rd foul, and he went out with 8 points. He had been a huge contributor early. He has not scored a point since he went out. Texas, second half, 55 shooting percentage. Sasser again. Sasser now with 21 points. 1-point game. Texas leads.
Sasser already over his average for the year, averaging 18 a game. Look at Anderson get inside. Oh, what a steal. How about that for quickness?
Sasser looked down and Anderson just went underneath him. Boy, he's quick.
Don't blink. Don't even nod. Don't even think. Just get out of his way.
Anderson on the clear out, passed up the 3 again.
Well, Tom Penders must have really got the message to him. There it is.
Well, he's left open that time, but he passed it up. Yeah. Freeman for 3. The jam. Betty Dickey, the wife of James Dickey.
She's happy after that one.
Red Raiders go back on top by 1. Anderson trying an alley-oop as the ball is tipped. Texas Tech will come back with it. Hughes for 3.
No conscience. He just let it rip. 2 guys running at him.
66-62. Longhorns came out in the second half with a 6-0 run. But the Red Raiders have answered it, and they're up by 4.
Well, I'm so impressed the way these two clubs push the ball offensively. It is so tough to play a team like that. They're so athletic and shoot it well.
Texas with 2 very careless ball handlings, back-to-back possessions, and a timeout is called by Texas. Well, following our game, we'll be taken up to McGonigal Hall. Temple will take on number 5 UMass. And that will know to be a lot of fun as John Saunders and Bill Raftery standing by. 9:30 Eastern Time. UMass and Temple next here on ESPN.
Big battle in the Atlantic 10. Temple a little bit of a bubble team right now, trying to work their way into that NCAA tournament. Mass a lot, battling to try to get a number 1 seed.
Tech on a 9-0 run.
There's James Dickey. What a job he's done here at Texas Tech. Started out 5-6 this year. They are now 15-7 and 10-0 at home. Done a terrific job for this Red Raider club.
You know, I think one of the things that really helped them was a tournament over the holidays. He went out to Tucson and played in the Copper Bowl tournament out there. Played very, very well. Made it to the finals. They were beaten by Arizona in the finals. But they seemed to gain a lot of confidence with that trip. Hughes back to Martin.
Martin wants to take Anderson. And does.
Wingfield with the rebound. It's a big possession right there, and Texas needs to score right here to kind of stop the bleeding. It's a 9-0 run by the Red Raiders. They've had 2 back-to-back turnovers as they've come down. Freeman, and that will stop it right there.
Number 30.
No challenge on that wing. Freeman went right down to the block and just shot a little 8-foot runner. You got to come out and challenge a guy on that shot. Sasser just turned and watched him go down inside.
Sasser, nice move in the middle.
Well, whatever he lacks on defense, he more than makes up for on offense. Guy's having a career night.
Sasser now with 23 points. Rencher looked at the 3, then passed it up. Everybody has had a better conscience about shooting a 3 since Penders erupted against Anderson. And as soon as I say it, Anderson shoots a 22-footer.
Did not register a complaint from Tom Penders.
Nope, he didn't blink. I don't think he believes in curbing the aggressiveness of his players, but the one that Anderson took early when he jumped on him was ill-timed and too far out.
Look at Texas Tech on the backboard.
Davis misses with the short jumper.
Look at Richard push. Well, they're using a lot of easy ones. Both clubs inside now.
Hit by Anderson, goes in the air, and Wingfield, can he save it? No, knocked out of bounds by Texas. So let's take a break. 10-1 left of the ball game.
In VCU, Sean Good steps in, shows the quickness and the nice finish, and right now 42-41, Hokies up by 1. We'll keep an eye on the bubble teams. Ron, back to you.
Okay, Chris, thank you. Our situation, Texas Tech 68-64. One of the guys in attendance tonight, Joe B. Hall, former head coach at Kentucky.
And was also the assistant my senior year at Kentucky, and he's down here to talk to James Dickey. Flew down with a group of other people from Kentucky, and of course James was an assistant for him up in Kentucky for a couple of years. Down here to maybe lend a little moral support to his club and to the man. Joe B. Hall maybe didn't get enough credit for the good job he did at Kentucky while he was there.
Hughes. Perryman couldn't stay with him, and you have to wonder how long Tom Penders will go with that matchup.
I'm telling you, no conscience. The guy will let it fly from anywhere. I love watching him shoot.
Hughes now with 19 points. Freeman shot is blocked. Perryman will come back with it.
This guy can shoot it.
Alvarado picks up the foul, and that's going to be his 3rd.
Foul is on number 0, Sonny Alvarado, his 3rd foul.
You know what's been lost in all this transition basketball in the second half is the fact that Texas Tech does not have a foul so far in this last 20 minutes. You can see the foul right here by Alvarado as he just simply goes up over the back.
So that is 14 fouls against Texas. And as Larry said, none against the Red Raiders in the second half. And we are under 10 minutes to play in the ballgame. And now it appears as though Texas is going to turn up the heat a little bit defensively.
That's a good move by Tom Penders. Come out and put the pressure on him.
Anderson with the steal. Gets it off to Alvarado, and he will go uncontested with the left-handed jam.
Certainly had a few verbal comments from guys in the red shirts underneath the basket down there, too.
Sonny said, this is not a primary for me. I'm not looking for votes. Stolen again. Anderson with the quick hands, and he's called for the double dribble.
Number 13, Jason
Roderick Anderson with almost another great steal. Tom Penders is saying he was held. No complaining from Anderson. I like the way a guy goes out and just plays. Just shows you, doesn't tell you how he plays, shows you how he plays. Now he's going to get a foul.
Anderson picks up the violation. It's going to be his second.
His second foul, team foul number 5.
Fifth team foul against the Longhorns in this half. Sasser, 25 now.
He just finds ways to make baskets. I mean, that time he threaded his way between two defenders in there, had an easy lay-in.
Anderson way outside, and he swishes this one.
Number 12, Roderick Anderson.
Back to a 4-point game.
Well, they've got the tools. They can bring it down very quickly.
Anderson with 22 now. Rencher continues to get some resting time on the bench. And Hughes has been called for an elbow.
Tell you what happens here. Tommy Penders really does a nice job defensively. Watch Hughes try to get across here, and he just simply sticks an elbow in. There it is, right there. He got caught. Penders is already applauding the call.
James Dickey came off the bench and jumped on a star player and said, I don't care what. You can't lose your composure. And that's what both coaches have tried to get across to their players tonight. Big game, a lot of tension, but composure is so very important. Freeman for three. He's not there. Wingfield on the long carom.
Anderson wanted to take one, but Hughes was there to deny him.
Freeman says, I'll take the three, and knocks it down.
Well, these guys love to shoot threes.
It is a one-point ball game. Oh, it's been one streak after another, Larry.
Well, the Texas Tech zone has really forced Texas to go to that outside, and they shoot the three so well. They're shooting 37% for the year.
Martin loses the ball, and here's Anderson. See if Martin will contest it or not. And he missed it, and right there with the foul with Freeman, and that's a great job of hustle by Freeman. And immediately Dickey is up, and James says, I want a timeout, as Texas goes back on top. So we'll take the timeout. 74-73 Longhorns.
Longhorns are forced back into the lead. I want to show you something. Roderick Anderson was complaining about being fouled. Watch Martin step on his heel right here as he goes in. Anderson going up. Look at that. Right there. Stepped on his right heel. He turned around to the official to say something. But that time they'd already followed up and gotten the basket. So Anderson, a legitimate complaint.
Well, he's still smiling, but you have to wonder, that's that we were wondering out loud how he just doesn't miss breakaways like that. And that's the reason. Biggest lead, Texas by 5. Richard Anderson, 31 points and 8 assists between the two of them. And for Texas Tech, biggest lead of 7. Right now, it is a 1-point Longhorn lead.
That 7 came here in the last couple of minutes, and Texas has really jumped on Texas Tech the last 2 minutes. And the man defense by Texas. Hughes is calling for the ball down inside. He wants to try to take Penders. Good switch by Freeman. Somebody forgot Davis.
Davis, as Larry said, all of a sudden a forgotten man, and that's the first 2 points that he has since he went to the bench with that third foul back in the first half. I would say Texas Tech needs him desperately if they're going to stay in this one coming down the stretch. Would you?
Oh, absolutely. He's got to be one of the offensive stars, as well as Sasser has played, and also Lance Hughes. Freeman. Oh, my goodness.
Freeman has he has come off the bench with 26 points. Wow. And now Terrence Rencher has had a good long rest, and he's about to check back in. Hughes.
I tell you, some of these guys are going to have career nights. Lance Hughes has been terrific, too.
We have had 10 lead changes in this ball game. Right now, we're tied at 77.
That's the way it's supposed to be when these two get together.
What was it last year? 105-103. Anderson, short. Follows it over the back. Davis got the block. Possibly got away with a foul.
Number 15, Terrence Richer in for Texas.
There you see the games. 92, Texas wins 93-90. In fact, those two wins by Texas Tech in the last 15 games these two have played, Texas has won 13 of the 15. The only two they've lost, they had to go into triple figures, and Texas Tech has won both of them.
That's right. It was 2 years ago. It was 105-103. That was the highlight that we showed back in the first half when Flemings got a loose ball inside as the clock ran out and put it back up for 2 points.
There he is right there. A hulking figure, I might add.
Yeah. Freeman has got 16 second-half points, Larry.
I'll tell you what, he has been the star for this Texas club. He's led them back.
He really has.
The only reason they're tied right now.
And it was Alvarado late in the first half that got him back in it after Texas Tech had just taken the momentum away. Shot clock now under 10. Anderson splits the difference. Back to Freeman. Rencher for 3.
Trouble, had nowhere to go. He was fortunate to have Sasser streaking down the floor.
Sasser now with 27 points.
Texas Tech back in that zone defense. They're trying to free Rencher, Freeman, or Rencher. Anderson's out there.
Hughes will pick up the violation. It's his second. Only the second team foul on Texas Tech, though. And Larry, that's really, really large as far as coming down the stretch here with only 4:20 left in the ballgame.
Well, it could be very big because Texas is not known as a good free throw shooting team.
Alvarado goes out of the game. McIver, who comes back in, is playing with 4 fouls.
There's the man.
Anderson had the 3. He passed it up.
Oh, what a threesome that is on the perimeter. You got Anderson on the left, Freeman in the middle, Rencher on the right.
Anderson says, I'll penetrate and kick it back outside. Freeman for 3, misses that one. And a foul is called on Sasser, pushing off on Wingfield. So for Sasser, that's going to be his 3rd foul.
Foul is on number 33, Jason Sasser. His 3rd foul, team foul number 3.
A lot of fouls to give yet for both of these clubs because Texas only has 5. They can give one more before they put the Red Raiders in the bonus.
Anderson for 3. Hughes from the rebound. Here's a streaking Sasser. They have numbers, and he will take it himself.
It was been a great pass by Hughes. It's a quick look up the floor. Don't dribble it up if you can pass it up. It's been a real seesaw affair. Now Texas Tech back on top by 4.
This is the way it's gone, though. One streak after another. Can Texas grab the momentum and have another streak? Anderson for 3. Wow.
Number 12, Roderick Anderson, 3.
Anderson now with 25.
You never know who's going to launch those ICBMs. They got so many guys out there.
Boy, we've seen some wonderful individual performances in this one as we're about to go under 3 minutes to play. Martin, and it's partially blocked by Freeman, and a shot inside. Wingfield with the foul, and he'll get an opportunity for a 3-point play.
Mark Davis with a big basket. This guy's got 9 double-doubles this year. In fact, one of the things I was interested in noting about him was he's the first Texas Tech player in history to record 200 rebounds and 100 assists. You know what? He's going to break that. Break it this year from what he did last year. He's already got 189 rebounds and 99 assists coming into this game.
Completes the 3-point play. And there's a timeout, so we'll take it with him. 2:56 left in the ball game. Red Raiders by 4.
Hey, we don't need anything on it. We don't need any graphics. We'll just let the audience tell everybody what's going on.
84-80, our score. Texas Tech leading the Longhorns.
It's amazing how much they follow our programming.
Yeah, it is.
Big possession right here for Texas.
Anderson dished the ball off. McIver misses. Wingfield on the follow. Has it taken away by Texas Tech, and a save by Davis.
Well, Mark Davis has really come on in the last 5 minutes. He had a good first half while he was in there, until he had to go to the bench with those 3 fouls, but really has turned it on here in the last 5 minutes.
Blair, we're about to go under 2 minutes. Hughes dishes it off. Sasser can't get it to go to Jam on the foul. Anderson turned around and looked at Tom Penders. He said, "You want me to slow it up?" And Penders motioned toward the basket. "Take it on in and let's get something going." 6-point margin and a turnover against the Longhorns. And Davis will miss the jump, but the Red Raiders come back with it.
Maybe start to think a little bit about taking some time off of that clock. You got a 6-point lead. You don't want to rush things right now. They've been rushing it all night long. Davis, what a shot.
Biggest lead of the night, 8 points by the Red Raiders. Rencher penetrates, not there. Davis with the rebound. And a foul called on Terrence Rencher with 72 seconds left.
If you start reading the story tomorrow about this basketball game, you're going to see a lot of heroes. Well, I'm going to tell you what, nobody has stepped up bigger than Mark Davis has in the last 4 or 5 minutes. When Texas made that run, it was Davis that came back. Look at this move inside. Oh, that's terrific. By a guy 6'7", 210.
The line is number 42, Mark Davis. Shooting 1-1.
Davis with 8 second-half points, and they've all come in the last 3.5 minutes, Larry.
He has been absolutely astounding.
So now a 9-point margin.
They need threes in a hurry. They've got the right guys in there to shoot them.
Anderson pumps, not there. On the follow.
1 minute.
Score it with McIver, and Texas will call a timeout. So it's a 7-point ball game with 60 seconds left, and we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Play. And this is the way it looks coming down the home stretch. 2 timeouts apiece, 7 fouls Texas, and 3 for Texas Tech.
You know what? Now that's something you got to think about. If you're Texas Tech and you're James Dickey, you go out and foul. You know, just put the ball in position, just go out and foul them, as long as they're not taking shots.
9-0 run by Texas Tech. That has been the last spurt of the game, and it's been a game of spurts by both teams. Texas got to get something done in a hurry here if they're going to stay alive, though they're down by 7. Penders picks up the foul. First one on him, but it's the 8th team foul. Rencher comes back into the lineup, and Penders will go to the bench.
You know, Ron, I guess for everybody who follows college basketball out there, they all realize the Southwest Conference is going to be gone. There's a new league going to be formed, and these 2 teams here are going to be part of that new league, joining up with the Big 8. Texas Tech coming in with some awfully good teams out of that Big 8.
Baylor and Texas A&M, the other clubs that will join the men from the north. Sasser knocks down his 30th point.
This from a guy who's averaging 18 for the year.
Sasser gets them both, and it's a 9-point Tech lead. Freeman for three. Rincher on the follow. He scores and an opportunity at a three-point play.
See, if you're Hughes there, Lance Hughes has just got to back away and let him have that shot. You don't want to stop the clock and give him a chance to score while there's no time going on.
Team foul number 4 for 22, Tommy Penders, and for Texas.
Watch again. Here's the miss by Freeman. Ball comes off. The rebound is long. Rincher right there to gather. Now watch Hughes. You know, really, he was just backing up. I'm not sure there was a foul, but the call was made anyway.
Rincher shoots. That 2 points by Rincher just a moment ago is only 2 points this half.
Oh, what a shot!
Penders picks up the foul, and that is just about going to do it, as he will go to the line with an opportunity to make it a 10-point ball game.
Watch this reaction after the shot. He's going up, releases, down. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. There he is, shaking his head in disbelief. Come on, get up and go shoot your free throws. Everybody helping you and smiling. One of the reasons these clubs are playing as hard as they are tonight, because they're battling for the supremacy in this conference. Because the team that finishes first gets a bye. They don't have to play that first day. They only have 7 teams playing in the tournament.
That's right, because of the probation on Baylor. Perryman for three. Knocks it down to 28.7 seconds left. And Texas calls a timeout, and it is a 6-point game.
3 points. Timeout, Texas.
Now, don't forget, coming up immediately following this one, UMass and Temple. And, of course, we all don't remember what happened last year. It was not on the courts, what happened in the postgame. And, of course, all of that has been said and done and hopefully forgotten. We know it has been forgotten. But 9:30 Eastern Time, John Saunders and Bill Raftery standing by to bring that one.
That's a couple of pretty good referees. They could get out here and call it.
Our situation, Texas Tech with a 1-point lead at halftime, 51-50. And right now, with 28.7 seconds left, they lead it by 6 points. Current standings in the Southwest Conference, Tech led by a half game over the Longhorns coming into this one. And if they hold on, it's going to be 10-2 and 8-3 for the Longhorns. So a big one, but of course, representative going to the NCAA tournament. Whoever wins the conference tournament in this one. I guess what the SEC is the only one that does it the other way.
Yeah, the Southeastern Conference uses the seasonal champion, whoever has the best record, and they declare co-champions if they're tied. Then if there was a game played, which there obviously is, and if they split those, then it becomes a tie-breaking situation within that league. But most of the conferences around the country really do use their tournament champion as a representative for the NCAA tournament.
Sasser fouled in the backcourt. It could have either been either Freeman or Anderson. And it's going to be Freeman they call the foul on.
Number 32, Rincy Freeman. His third foul.
You know, Ron, it's been enjoyable watching these two clubs go at each other tonight, and I came in here fully expecting to see a game somewhere in the 90s or somewhere in the triple digits for both clubs, and history would lend you to believe that. But tonight, I saw a lot of excellent play on the part of both of these teams.
You know, I think if Tom Penders had had his druthers in this ballgame, that if he could have controlled the pace more, I think he would have gone for a little lower scoring basketball game than we have right now, don't you?
Oh, I think so too, but sometimes you get caught up in the game. I mean, you know, you've got a strategy. You want to employ that strategy. You want to put it out there and make it work. But sometimes the game, it just dictates itself. It has a mind of its own. You got to play and go with the flow.
Follow not there. Ham up over the top commits the foul.
I'll say one thing about Ham. He loves to play around up in that ozone, doesn't he?
Boy, he can really jump. Only the first foul on him, though. Team foul number 5 against Texas Tech. So UMass and Temple coming up. Saunders and Raftery standing by for that one. Freeman way outside off the back iron. Martin will rebound, and the foul by Freeman with 13.4 seconds left. Betty Dickey, and I think that is James Dickey's father, who was sitting right next, holding his granddaughter. Betty Dickey was inducted into the Arkansas Hall of Fame. She was a great women's basketball player for the Longhorns.
Wonder what their conversations are like when they go home. You sit around and talk about X's and O's?
I tell you, that's one situation where your wife might make you bring your work home because she wants to talk. She understands it well. Betty Dickey was inducted into the Hall of Fame at Arkansas when they opened the new arena up there. Pender shot blocked by Davis. And it's academic now as the ball goes high in the air, and Texas Tech will win it 96-87. Tom Penders and James Dickey with the handshake at the end of the ball game, and we'll say so long from Lubbock. For Larry Conley, Ron Franklin saying so long, everybody. Chris Fowler, back to you.